Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Always, and welcome back to Stoneblock 3. In the last episode, we were busy. We did a lot of stuff last time. We made some power generation, thermogenerator. We made the dissolution chamber, started working towards the upgraded machine frames from industrial foregoing. We did a lot. We made this system to get magma blocks that we can then go turn into obsidian, which I actually need to go ahead and do that with these 16. We just gotta wash them. Not too difficult. So that will take a little bit of time. And yeah, we've been really busy. We're trying to get blazes so that we can get more power for one. We can get our hammer so that I can dig out a room so we can put some what are they called? Botany pots and all that kind of stuff. And just we've been doing a lot of like little projects. Between episodes, I gathered up a lot of resources. I went ahead and upgraded the seared stone of our smeltery, so I put another layer on it. This will be important hopefully later. And I also farmed Enderman because we made an Enderman spawner using an Enderman spawn egg and a I think it was a zombie spawner or something like that. So basically, we've been doing a lot of stuff to try to get, the main thing we're trying to get is the mob duplicator so that we can duplicate blazes. And yeah, so between episodes, I farmed a bunch of ender pearls, and we're going to turn 9 of these into eyes of enders. And I miscounted. I forgot I need 4 more obsidian, so we'll have to wait around for that. We'll get to that in a little bit. I want to make wireless power RF redstone flux. I want to get into flux networks and get that started. I also want to open up these loot crates that we got. This was from fighting the Enderman, so we got some sugar, boring, vector plate, not as boring, and epic advanced pipe upgrades. Alright, none of those are particularly interesting. But today, first thing we need to do is we need to work towards the advanced machine frame. So that requires pink slime, which we got last time, plastic, but it requires netherite scrap. This is the hard part. And so in order to get netherite scrap, we're going to make the enrichment chamber and the crusher for mechanism. One other thing, by the way, before I forget, this is a system I tried to make. So observer to observe this changing with a toggle latch from create. I wanted to show off how that's made. It's really simple. Any sort of stone, redstone torch, and a lever. And this almost works. If we want this to work, we need to get these guys upgraded so that they instantly place and break. Right now it takes them about 5 seconds to do anything, and that's not what I want, but it's not really going to matter until we get power to them, and we're probably going to end up changing this system eventually to something that uses refined storage, but I'm not sure about that yet. Anyways, let's get to mechanism. Let's start with that, and we're going to need, so I made some steel. We're going to need 2 steel casings, and then we're going to need, what, 4 basic control circuits, which is just redstone and osmium. How much redstone do we need? 20. And I believe that means 2 redstone per. So we need 8 redstone. And then 4 osmium. And that should be pretty easy. We just gotta use our machine over here. Do we have any more power? Cables. No, it doesn't look like it. So we should be able to make some more universal cables. And that's going to be like super important so we can put power more places. But we'll make 2 basic control circuits, And eventually we're going to make a bunch of mechanism machines and automate all that. But the first thing we want is the crusher. And to get this, we are going to need a little bit of lava. Which is fine. We have like 50 buckets of lava. This system has worked great. It is slow, but it doesn't matter because it is passive. It will just gather up all the lava we need, and we don't have to worry about it. So the first thing we need is a crusher, because we need to crush our ancient debris. And this is where the cable comes in handy, because we're just going to use the power, the thermo generator that's over here. And I guess we don't even need to use that. We can just put a machine here, and it works fine enough. So we are going to crush. Let's make sure. So enrichment chamber only gives you 2. Crusher gives you dirty netherite scrap, which is what we want. And then with the other 2 control circuits, we can make an enrichment chamber that will do something with that dirty scrap. And so we don't need the crusher, we need the enrichment chamber. And we're going to be using these a lot more later. I didn't actually need the cables, but you know what, let's keep those. Oh, I had some already. We should keep those on us because it's a little bit better. You don't have to put those in there. Alright, so the enrichment chamber, keep checking for more magma. The enrichment chamber will let us take the dirty netherite scrap to make netherite scrap. And then from there, what we can do, we can put a bucket of pink slime in there, which will give us most of what we need. We can only put 2 items in, we can only put 1 set of items in at a time, but the simple machine frame, we're going to need 2 gold and, well, we're going to need 4 gold and 2 diamond gears. So all in all, not the worst to make these, but the hard part is the netherite right now. Netherite is difficult for us to acquire because we can't smelt it. Our smeltery is not hot enough to do anything with that, so we gotta improve things. But there is the netherite scrap that we're going to need, and that should make our first machine. It's going to use a lot of power, but actually not that much, and it should only use half a bucket of pink slime, and then we make another one. So while that is going and processing, the next thing that we're going to be doing is we need to make the mob crusher. The mob crusher is important because it gives us a fluid that we need. So let's just get this. I don't believe it matters the order. It does not. The extra plastic is for the 2 machines. So let's see if we have, what do we have for the mob crusher? Not much. So we're going to need books, 2 gold gears, and what is iron sword? Okay, that's easy enough. So we'll make that. Do we have any books lying around? We probably have some in our bag. Yes, indeed we do. Perfect. So that is going to be the mob crusher. Now the mob crusher takes hostile mobs, defeats them, and then gives us stuff back. Specifically, it gives us fluid. Essence, I do believe, is what it's called. And so we can make that. And then the key to the mob crusher is we want the essence that it gives us. Because that is required to spawn in things with the mob duplicator. So what all do we need? Oh no. I had a little bit of magma cream and I used it. Alright, not a big deal. We have some blaze rods. I know it's more efficient if we do other things with those, but I don't care. We don't need to. And I just want to make sure that we do have more nether wart. We have the ability to make more nether wart, so not too worried. So that will give us the mob duplicator. Perfect. Alright. So we're going to switch gears real quick for a couple of things. We want to make the flux networks. So we're going to need a flux controller, which requires 5 blocks. And these things are not easy to deal with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then one more. That is why I have 9. We are going to run out of obsidian faster. Hold up. We have an extra block. That might be useful. I keep clicking the wrong thing. So we will make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we might actually be able to just... So there is the controller. Can we make a plug? No, we don't have enough of those yet. Can we make 2 recipes of these? We can. We might actually have enough stuff. So there is the plug and a point. Perfect. Okay, so we don't need any more obsidian right now. So let's get some other stuff because we're going to want it. First of all, we are going to grab some cables. And then I'm going to see if my idea works. So we don't need the network thing anymore. We just need to place this somewhere. I'm going to put it right here for now. We're going to create a new network. We're going to call it... you can't just hold. Main power. I'm the only one here, so it doesn't matter. Alright, cool. So now we can start transferring power however we want. And we're going to make some add-ons. So we're going to need 2, 4, 6, 8 diamond gears. 8 diamond gears. A bunch of redstone. Also 8. Glass panes. Also 8 of those. And then 4 sugar, which is easy enough. That's 5. And then 2 crafting tables and 2 furnaces. So there is 1 crafting table. 2 crafting tables. And do we have any furnaces in here? No. Okay. 2 furnaces. So what we're doing with this stuff is we're making some add-ons for industrial foregoing, specifically these machines, because I think if I do this, I can actually get things to work. So 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those. And that is going to make a speed add-on, speed tier 2. Now there's only 2 tiers, and speed obviously speeds up the machine. We're going to put it in here just so it's a little bit quicker to make all this stuff. And we need more latex, which luckily we do have enough. We're going to need 4 buckets in total. And you can only put 1 speed upgrade at a time. But there is the speed add-ons. And then that's going to go real quick. And then we can also use a processing tier, which allows you to process more. We'll see if that's needed. I don't know why I was making the processing tier, actually. I think the processing tier was more for this guy. So we can put a processing tier in there, and it will process more latex more quickly. I don't think it's going to matter much for these guys. So these guys don't have power, but we're going to put speed upgrades in both of them. And I don't know if anything else really matters. I guess we can put the processing tier in there. I don't know why I made the processing tiers, I'll be honest. But we can put these guys in here. And so they will act a little faster. And then we can also dig around the back here. And we're going to put some cables. and the flux point. I can never remember which one's which. In this one, we will add to main power. And so once we have the flux plugged into our machine over here, this guy right here, it will start drawing power out of this machine and putting it in the network. And the only thing we have attached right now to the network is those guys. So theoretically, they should both get power. And now, here is the question. The idea with this is the observer will see whenever this changes into a magma block or into, or when a block is placed or removed, and it will send a signal. And I'm hoping that the signal it sends is long enough that it doesn't send multiple signals before this thing can kind of do its thing. So that's a terrible way of explaining it. But basically, this is going to see when this turns into a magma block and turn this on. This only works with redstone signal, so it will then be able to break the magma block. The problem is, when it breaks the magma block, the fact that a block was broken activates the observer, and when this places a cobblestone, it activates the observer. I only want one of those to trigger this, not both. So if these guys go faster, theoretically, it will only get like one signal with a repeater. And I can always make another repeater if it's not distinct enough, but let's see. So now it should work. And it works just fine. So this is automatically going to give us magma blocks. Hopefully it constantly works, because otherwise this thing will break the cobblestone, and I don't want that. So the point that this whole thing is supposed to do is when the block is broken and when the block is placed, I want that to be one signal and not two. The observer is going to send two signals. That's not good. Like that. And then it's backwards. Okay. So I might make the delay a little bit longer and see if that helps. But yeah, this will work basically every second. So if I can make the delay longer, I think that will help. Let's see. I think I have some more repeaters. Yes, I have multiple repeaters. So that is going to give us more... that is going to give us more magma blocks so that we can make more flux networks, specifically the points. The only thing I really care about at this point is the points, not the plugs. That is where we can send power. So, can we make one of these? No. Can we make one of these? No. We need 4 obsidian. And guess what? I have 4 magma blocks in here. So we should be able to wash these real quick. And we'll get power. And what we're gonna do is eat. What we're gonna do is we are going to start collecting mob essence. We're gonna put the mob crusher over here, and I do want to see what's its range. It needs range upgrades. Okay, luckily we do have some range upgrades. This is stuff that we got from bees or loot or something like that. I don't know where we got it. There is a range tier 1 add-on. They're add-ons, not upgrades. Same difference. I have a 4. Also, we're completing quests, so we should go check that stuff out. So there is a random reward. We got some mob farm things, which also completed another thing. Crafter tier 1. A lot of stuff that we will get into later. Oh, that's kind of cool. I can donate levels. We got that last time. Ooh, we got an enchanted book. Silk Touch. Cool. So a lot of this stuff I don't care too much about. But let's see what an upgrade like this gives us. Basically includes the entire room. And in fact, if we move it back one, it would. So we can do that. Show the area. So yes, it will work. So we'll just make a little bigger of a room. This can store 32 buckets worth of stuff. And that's fine. That's perfect. There is one slight problem. Yeah, so that doesn't work. I'm gonna continue working on that. It's probably gonna be something that I just completely forget about and just revamp with a different set of technology. But this is making enough power. We should have the obsidian by now, and I can show you guys how this was gonna work, and then we can go from there. So let's get the cores. We'll get a flux point. And then we should be able to turn this machine on. We just tell it to get onto main power. It's full of power. We break this, and Endermen should start dying. And hopefully they stay in here. That's the only concern I have. Yeah, the Endermen are gone. And we have 200 millibuckets of essence. So I'm going to let this run for a little bit, and I'm going to figure out the next plan, because here's the thing. I need another mob imprisonment tool thing, which is plastic and gas tier. Plastic is easy. Gas tier is not. So I think what we're going to do, I might go explore a little bit in the stone dungeon and see if I can find anything else. I don't know yet, but we have one mob imprisonment tool, which is great, but I would love to have another. And the reason for that is I want to be able to spawn in these blazes and capture them so that I can put them in the smeltery and make fluid. I'm also going to have to figure out exactly how that works because I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to do a little bit of research. I'm going to see what we can get. I'm going to let this kind of go for a bit, and hopefully Endermen don't start spawning all over the base. I do need to stay over here, by the way, because this is a normal spawner. So I'm going to do that, and yeah, I'll come back once we're ready to start spawning in blazes and go from there. Alright, so we have a lot of things. A slight change of plans, though. So originally I was going to try to capture a blaze and put them in the smeltery to get the blaze blood so that we can use that as fuel for stuff. That's not going to be the case because I went to the stone dungeon, I looked around for a little bit, and I didn't find anything much, and I was too scared to go after anything. We're still pretty weak, to be perfectly honest. Our diamond sword does not one-shot things. There's a lot of spawners in there. So instead, we're going to make blaze blood the other way, which is, if we can find blaze blood, you know, it might just be better to do this. So blaze blood can be made. Blazing blood? Is it blazing? Yes. Blazing blood can be made from blaze heads in a smeltery. So that is what we're going to do. In order to get blaze heads, we need to get a cleaver. So we're going to make a cleaver. The other thing, I did pick up some stuff from the dungeon. I broke through some of the walls and just grabbed some chests. The main thing that I would like to say is I got some blazing crystal, which is really nice. And then we have some uncommon loot from that. Brick. And then I've gotten some essence. So we have, what, 720 millibuckets of essence. And we have a bunch of loot as well, including a lot of ender pearls, which is nice. So redstone upgrade, a grenade, slime ball, chance cube, all things I don't really care about right now. Chance cubes are fun, but that is a much later type of thing. We need the coal. Alright, and then there was the clay stuff. We're not going to worry about that. So, we need to make some stuff. We need to make some steel, and to do that, we're actually going to enrich some coal. So if you put coal, redstone, diamonds, and obsidian, refined obsidian, I think, you can put stuff in the enrichment chamber to make enriched version of those. And the neat thing about these is one piece of coal would usually change one piece of iron into enriched iron. One piece of enriched carbon gives you 8. So it basically makes your resources extend. Something that we're going to automate later on, especially because steel is really important. And so having that would be nice. So we're just going to go ahead and get some steel. And the neat thing is we don't actually need to smelt it up. We'll smelt it in the smeltery. And we need to make a couple of things. So we're going to make some rose gold. And we're going to make a rose gold handle, tough handle to be specific. We're also going to use a little bit of gold to make a cast. And the cast that we're going to be making is a large blade, broad blade. So we're just going to get a stone broad blade for now. And this is what we're going to cast. So make a cleaver. It is 2 tough handles with a large plate and the blade. So the blade that we're going to be making is the steel. I have 3 things of osmium and 4 things of cobalt to make the other handle and a plate. And I kind of went through all of the like stuff that we could do. I hope these don't alloy. I don't think they do. So 3 ingots of that will make a osmium handle. So this handle has good attack speed. It has a good enhancement and terrible durability. But this handle has really good durability. Plus it gives a little bit more attack speed, which is good. It's something we want. So the large plate is the cobalt. Cobalt we have a ton of. We should probably go finish making the steel. And this cobalt has a lot of durability, which is good. It gives some attack damage. It's one of the higher attack damages that we can get easily. And just in general, it's good. So we're gonna make a cobalt large plate. So all we need now is the steel, and we can start setting up the mob duplicator. So this thing we're gonna put here actually, because I remember how it works. Show working area. Does it not want to show the working area? So we put it there. It's got power now. And I can't see its working area. That is terrible. So I believe it works very similar to a spawner. So we're going to put it right here. And we're just going to grab some more cabling. And send this out like so. So they can get power. And we're going to put it on run with redstone signal. We're going to go ahead and make a... this is a very temporary setup. I just want enough blazing blood so that we can do a couple of things. Namely, I want to make my hammer. So we need to make the heptazon, or however you say it. And for this we need quartz, cobalt, and copper, and 1400 degrees Celsius. That is kind of the problem. So let's get a lever. And we should have our steel by now. So we can make a cleaver. Now there is a... So cleavers come naturally with a enchantment called severing. Very good. It is what we need. But we might want... Okay, so that should work just fine. I realize we don't necessarily need the singularity tank, but we can just put essence in here like so. And that will spawn in blazes. And then eventually we should be able to get better ways of getting blazes. But this gives us the severing enchantment, or enhancement, or whatever it's called in Tinkers now. But there are others. And we can also put that on any tool. So let's figure out modifiers. It's got to be modifiers. Yeah. So it's going to be in here. And I don't know what it looks like. So we might want to get a book, because there is a way to get more. So I believe it's going to be like this book. Puny Smelting might have what we want. I was looking at stuff, obviously. Shiny upgrades, maybe? Severing, yes. So we can add more if we had Necrotic Bones, Lightning Rod, and TNT. But yeah, basically a cleaver. I couldn't remember what it was called for a second. This is going to have 9.58, and it's going to have Severing 2. We have multiple upgrades and abilities that we can add to it, so we can upgrade it even further if we want to, when we want to. I'm not as worried about that right now, but hopefully this thing will give us blaze heads. So let's do the terrible thing of spawning a blaze or two. And we got a blaze rod. That is also what we want. We want blaze rods, because blaze rods are going to give us... Oh, is it just like directly above it? If that's the case, we haven't got a single head yet. Let's just go ahead and let this clean up. And hopefully at some point we'll get a blaze head. It would be nice if they stopped getting stuck in the wall, in the ceiling. And still no blaze heads. Ow. Fire is not nice. But of terrible things, it's not the worst. Okay, so there's not enough essence in there for anything else to spawn. We didn't get a single blaze head, of course. So let's just grab this for a second. And if we put it out here, what's the working area? It does not want to show. Okay. So I guess let's put it here. And apologies for having to do that. I guess we'll put a lever here. And redstone mode ignored would be fine, I think. Because we can kind of control things by the... there's other ways. So I don't think we have any other necrotic bones, unfortunately. I don't think we've seen that many wither skeletons. So that is kind of a shame. So yeah, they drop from wither skeletons with the cleaver, with severing. That is really unfortunate. I don't have any more. Don't have any in here. So yeah, we're gonna have to just bear with this. It does decent damage. So I'm not too concerned with that. And I don't know if there's a way to upgrade things just like straight up, like you don't need the other stuff, but If there was, that would be cool. Alright, so that seems to work a little bit better. And yeah, it looks like it's spawning at like 3 or 4 blocks above. Hey, we got our first blaze head. Awesome. Alright, here we go. Now we can do something. So we put this in here. And I believe we can click things with the tank. But we should probably make another seared fuel tank. So that is 8 seared bricks and a piece of glass. We do have 1. So I guess we can make 1 more of these. And rather than using a singularity tank, we'll just get some blazing blood, which we have all of 100 millibuckets. That is not much, but it should be enough. So let's make a seared tank, and theoretically we should be able to click this and get what we need. Switch those out. Eventually what we'll probably end up doing, something that I've seen, is you make a blaze spawner. You get a blaze spawner, and you just put it above a like gigantic smeltery, and that's it. They fall in, they melt, you get what you want. So with this we should be able to get the hammerhead, which is the main thing that I want. So it was the quartz, copper, and cobalt. So we'll get these guys smelted up. We have that, we have that, we have that. The expanded modifier we can do. And we need to do that twice. And now it's empty. Ah, man. But there's still heat. And it's making the stuff. So hopefully, perfect. There was just enough. Alright, that's all that matters. So do we have enough of the other things to do what we need to do? So we can make our hammer. Ah, man, this is awesome. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this yet. And fun fact, so you see how it's blue on the left, pink on the right? You can actually change that, and it blue on the left, pink on the right. You can change it, yes. Hey, there's a bee that's literally right there. I don't think it matters with the anything else, but we're gonna do it this way. So there is our hammer, and now we need to modify it. So the modifier, we're gonna do this twice. We need 2 amethyst bronze, 2 pistons, and 2 ichor. So the ichor is the question. Do we have that? And these things were ichor crystals. We have more than enough. I think it was just 4 that we need. Yeah, because we need to do this twice, and I already have it in the blast furnace because I was prepared. So theoretically, we can now put this in the center and do something like that. And I'm not sure what... we're going to need another ability slot. So I need to figure that out. But what we just did was we took this guy from... I don't know that it says. But normally the hammers are a 3x3. And now... let's find someplace that I don't really care about hammering. So now it is, you can see it is a 3x5. Not quite what I want. So I need to figure out how to get another ability slot. We got some dark matter from that bee. That is really, really convenient. Let's just dump this stuff off. No, I want that amethyst bronze. So yeah, battery. Lever's mine. The aluminum is not. So we need an ability slot. And I don't know how to get more of those. So adds another ability thing. I don't know if there's an upgrade to get more abilities. That is unfortunate. Let's grab our books and see. It might be in this one because it's like the tier 3 stuff. Abilities. So abilities are special types. Trades 1 ability slot for 2 upgrade. We don't want that. We want... I mean, you could just do Unbreakable, but that's really difficult to get. Okay, so... I'm going to look into this. I don't know if there is any way we can get more, but the expanded is what we want. So you need to have multiple levels to get bigger hammer. So I need to figure out if I can get an additional ability slot or if I messed up or what. But I'll figure that out and I will make a hammer. So we'll do that. I will probably go ahead and hammer out a good bit of this area, even with the hammer I have now, because why not? It actually works quite well. And we're just going to make another room. I would love it to be a 5x5, but I'll deal. So if I can figure out how to get the ability, and if it's not too hard, I might do that like off camera, but I will definitely let you guys know what I find out, and we can start getting all of our stuff. So I think at this point the next thing we need to do, so there is still a few things that we need to like work towards. Let's open those. Music disc. I have a bunch of these clay crates. I want to see what they have. It's clay. Bunch of clay. Okay. So I think what we're going to do is next time I want to start working on some more automation. We have power that we can transfer, so we'll probably upgrade our power supply a little bit more, and then start just kind of working on getting better machines and all that kind of stuff, and automating this guy and just whatever we can figure out to do. So that's the plan. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!